Greetings again. Quay is Algonquin for hello. Um, Today, let's go to our screen share. Uh, Kind of wanted to tie at least one loose end. uh, yeah, from the last video. It's all Greek to American Indians, the entire system we're in. We just wanted to show where we got our reading about the Constitution from. I had never said it was from Britannica, so I just wanted to let you know it's a fairly legitimate source. But when I do a slide thing, I try to clean it up because we just want to read what the text is saying. We don't want to look at all these sidebars and pictures necessarily. So we picked up here, uh, right about here. And so we are showing that the general idea, it wasn't an idea of Indians, okay? The general idea of a constitution and of constitutionalism originated with the ancient Greeks. You see, it's all Greek to American Indians, and especially in the systematic, theoretical, normative, and descriptive writings of Aristotle. Indians have to, just in general, people in general, not just Indians, we have to understand the width and breadth and depth of colonization. When they come, they're bringing everything they're bringing is a tool that gives them the upper hand, right? So all of a sudden in America, our Constitution is like, it's almost like it's God here. And it's like we have to remember, well, wait now, where did it come from? Now, as we should be able to see, as solid as it is alleged to be, at this point in the game, it's as good as a piece of toilet paper, right? Because the idea we always have to be aware of is when someone creates something, especially when they have a goal and a mission, they're going to create it just enough to fool you. Okay, can I say all right with that? I'm trying to move away from the amen. I got to replace that. So it comes out a little awkward. So I'm coming to you. I'm selling something, right? I have to make it appeal to you. This is commerce, baby. I have to shine that shit up, even though it's a piece of crap. And I got to make it look all deluxe and brand new and like it's everything you could possibly want, right? That's how we have to look at the Constitution, right? That's how we have to look at everything that came with colonization, everything. When you go to clean house, people, especially you clean freaks. I'm not quite that category, but maybe I'm a mental cleaner. Kind of gotta. There we go again. I gotta replace that word. Uh, I gotta replace it quick. This is becoming embarrassing. When you clean house, you don't just do the surfaces, right? You know, those that really into like, it's a thorough. We're not trying to make it look good for company now. uh, but to really clean house, it has to be a thorough, because what's the point? What's so it's a top to bottom thing where you're really going to go and get in. You're going to look behind stuff and under stuff and, that kind of thing. This is what this is about. This is an Indian's right, God given, okay? Not man given. It's not a benefit or a privilege. Now, the doctrine of discovery has been denounced. We're officially not to be seen as sinners anymore. I mean, we've been Christians forever, so we shouldn't. That should have been gone. But you see, again, this shows the true motive of the religion. It was never just to make you Christians and part, of a monotheistic system. It was never meant to see. I wish Indians could really grab that and really see that it was just a ploy. Your status never changed. It's almost like a religion was created literally inferior so that you would be inferior. It's it's telling you to, again, stay obedient, pay taxes, turn the other cheek when your ass is getting smacked. You see, it's like, just stay there and bear it, because we take it. Okay. So this is why we wanted to look at the state. Where did that come from? Greece. The Constitution, where did that come from? It was part of the state. Every state had a constitution. This is going back to Greece now, okay? This is not, now we predate Greece, okay? We know that. So we're being given something that is a younger, it's younger than us, and it's meant for a younger shall we say, element to take firstborn position, okay? So we got to give it back, y'all. We got to give it back. So we just wanted to, this is what, see, the reason why we're not getting all jiggy and all of that, we just want to know where you came from, okay? We don't want to know how you came up with it and and no. Where did it come from? It originated with the ancient Greeks, and especially in the systematic, theoretical, normative, and descriptive writings of Aristotle. Now, the Moors are so slick that they know how to puppet these ancient people. This is nothing but the Moors. These are puppets of the Moors, okay? The ones who got expelled went out and started, quote unquote, teaching a slew of lies, okay? Because they never taught the world that America existed. Okay, that's how you should think of a Moor. Okay, the one who went out, knew you were right here the whole time, reared up a bunch of empires, and had them believing that you was heathen. Okay, that's what Moors did. And they're gonna dance around that and blind you with science and wisdom and knowledge and all that. Baby, you a liar, okay? Let's cut to the chase. You tell me that there's clean Moors and dirty Moors. It's like, what? A clean Moor is a Moor who took a bath? No, that don't change what he is, though. I say that if there is a clean Moor, it would have to be the ones that don't deal with America point blank, period. Ain't say nothing about America. They just talking about how they love Morocco and want to be in Morocco and don't care nothing about anything else but Morocco. Okay, that's, to me, that would be what a clean more, quote unquote, is. Someone who's not here doing a dance trying to convince you that we're one and the same. That would, see, that would be a dirty more for me. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, and they were started out as priests. Okay, that right there is a big problem. Okay. So just once again, this is Constitution as defined by Britannica. So we didn't catch that in the last video. So we just want to tie that. We did review the state really quickly. Again, we're not really, let's not waste a lot of time like we tend to do. Right, Haru? Okay. So the state. We jump into the point. The term is derived from the Roman law concept of status, which is interesting because if a constitution came with a state, which what, wait a minute, where do we see that? It seems like it had to originate in Greece as well, right? Because it's part and parcel to having a state. A state has a constitution. So already we kind of seeing some dubious dealings. If a state, I'm sorry, if a state is having a Greek, wait a minute, Greece came before Rome. Okay, let's line up our ducks here. Okay, Greece came before Rome. All right, so so maybe that's what we have to realize when we're talking about let's see, ancient Greeks. Okay, so a concept. So then I'm trying to say a state. Oh, wait. Here it is. Here it is. It's right here. Every state has a constitution. Okay, so what we're trying to say here is that a state was also, along with a constitution, it was like part and parcel to a constitution. So it's Greek. It's all Greek to American Indians. In this purely descriptive sense of the word, every state has a constitution. Okay. The simplest, oh, right, yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, let's just read it. Okay. The general idea of a constitution and of constitutionalism originated with the ancient Greeks. Okay. I think it's just simple to call it all Greek. You know, when you're introducing Rome, basically you're just introducing the Church of Rome. Okay. Maybe that's how we can differentiate. The Greeks didn't have a Church of Rome. Okay. Uh, so the general idea of a constitution and of constitutionalism originated with the ancient Greeks, and especially in the systematic, theoretical, normative, and descriptive writings of Aristotle. In his Politics, Nicomachean Ethics, Constitution of Athens. So Athens had a constitution. Okay. And other works, Aristotle used the Greek word for constitution, politeia, in several different senses. The simplest and most neutral of these was the arrangement of the offices in a polis, a state. So politeia or polis, it's so interesting that it looks like they're saying police state. Police state. Wow. See how their word spells kind of work? So the simplest, okay, let's read that again. Aristotle used the Greek word for constitution, politeia. A politeia is a state. Um, what it sounds like they're saying is they basically one and the same. Excuse me. A constitution and a state. So constitution is a Greek word for state, is what I think I'm reading here. So we had a system, right? An old ancient system. Then suddenly we're being imposed upon by a Greek system, but it's a Greco-Roman system when you add the church. Okay? So let's read this just one more time because I'm really trying to get this connection. I think that's what it is. The general they're both the same. Okay, one and the same. Constitution and a state is one and the same, is what I think I'm reading. The general idea of a constitution and of constitutionalism originated with the ancient Greeks, and especially in the systematic, theoretical, normative, and descriptive writings of Aristotle, who's a Greek philosopher, right? In his Politics, Nicomachean Ethics, Constitution of Athens, and other works, Aristotle used the Greek word for a constitution. So the Greek word for constitution, politeia, in several different senses. In the simplest and most neutral, it was polis, or state. What I'm reading is that constitution, politeia, is another word for state. So the state and the constitution are basically intertwined. It's the simplest form of a constitution and the most neutral was the arrangement of the offices of a polis, a polis. And I guess that's where we're getting policy. See how the words tie? This is another great example of why we gotta stay away from the words. See how colonizer inserts himself, and please make note of this because I think I've been thinking of it, just not saying it, is that he inserts his words so that when he has the conquered people constantly using his words, it makes it appear that his system is your system, and somehow it supersedes your system just by using the words. Like, in other words, empire, emperor, empress. The colonizer just sits back and smiles because it's like we've been established again by our conquered people. They are using our, this is why we have to change every word we have associated with this commercial entity we call a government. This is not an act of violence. This is an act of indigenous people taking back what was stolen from them. You see? In a peaceful manner, because it can the only way for it to be peaceful is for it to be a matter of changing words, right? We're not trying to come up against a system that has developed itself enough that all it needs to do is say, oh, you're doing something, you're hurting us, we're gonna have to kill you, or some crap like that, right? No, you've already killed us on paper, remember? So what we're doing is basically coming back from the dead, okay? You love your zombie movies, but when it happened in real life, you don't like it. So this is not an act of violence, y'all. This is extracting ourselves from the genocide that we've been enduring and continue to endure, even after the doctrine of discovery was denounced. I'm just surprised that you would think that an UNDRIP or something of that nature, ADRIP, UNDRIP, you would think that the first thing they should be saying, right? Check it out, is get rid of disenfranchising terms like black or white. How do you make an UNDRIP or an ADRIP and you never mention just exactly how indigenous people were changed into little franchises for colonizer system? You see how UNDRIP is too, first of all, it's too much in a C jurisdiction. Second of all, it's too nebulous. They're not calling out the fraud, y'all. They're just, they're not giving you they're not giving you specifics. They're talking in generals. They're trying to make a one size fits all because that would be perfect for a one world system, wouldn't it? They're literally trying to come off as if this is just for everyone, right? They're not touching on the different ways of genocide, the forms of genocide. What made indigenous people become so dominated in the first place? They don't talk about that. It just happened, right? Y'all laid down and we came, y'all laid down and we got busy, right? That's it was consensual. Okay. They're not going into the ins and outs of how do indigenous people become disenfranchised? So then you could swoop in now and pretend that you're saving the day without ever talking about how the crime was committed. Okay. So now we're saying that the term is derived from Roman law when it seemed to have originated in Greece. So now they're saying, I didn't catch this before. See, it's hard to keep up with deception. It's very complicated. I think it's meant to unravel and what do you call it? What's that setting on the blender when you really blending shit good? Pulverize your brain. So we just read, and I think that would be more accurate because we go into an origin, right? So we going to as far back as we can, the first appearance of a thing, and it sounds like state was polis, a polis. Isn't that where they get metropolis, and all of that kind of stuff? So it originated in Greece, and here the Romans are trying to put their spin on it and say the term is derived from the Roman law concept of status rei Romanae. And see, I'm just going to stop here for a minute, and I'm thinking about the idea of Greek fraternities and how very genocidal that would be to Indians and the those the ones who have been mentally pulverized and think that it's a great honor to be part of a Greek society, not realizing it's that same Greco-Roman system that is running your entire birthright. And what do? You get to be proud of it, right? Be proud to be colonized. It's just so interesting. It's like they make it's just like being made a constant fool every possible minute of every possible day. And so when you clean house and you really get a fresh start, you really, baby, we got to get out. I'm talking get out, okay? I'm not talking about no kind of violence. I'm talking about extracting ourselves from an oppressive system, okay? And how Indians really need to start thinking about this thing. We can't use any of it. It's like it's almost like cutting a leg off of a some kind of uh, uh, microbitic, I don't know, what am I trying to say, some entity that you just cut a little piece of it off and you keep that little piece and you think you're okay because you done dissected it, but it just regenerates, you know, taking a little piece of it, and it has somehow it has a way of, just by word recognition, it's a nod. When you use colonizers' words, it tells him how indoctrinated you are. It lets him know that, you know, I've succeeded in planting myself in the mind of the colonized. They use my words like it's scripture. You know, it's just natural. That's all the words we don't teach them anything else. That's why we don't teach them anything else. So again, another uh uh reason why it might not be a bad thing to learn our indigenous languages. You know, that could be a really powerful start. But the golden rule here is we got to question everything, y'all. And I mean rename. When I say rename, I really actually mean that. The word spells are really very powerful. And we have to know that it's speaking of word spells. Okay, so words used in commerce. Once again, this is from Glenn FEARN. He's another one being accused of being a sovereign citizen, but he's a foreigner in the system that the Moors created for him, but he's working it how it was supposed to be worked before it became a Trojan horse type of deal. See, again, you make the thing look shiny and new, and we all get on board. And the next thing you know, blacks and whites are just different levels of slavery in a caste system, right? So what someone like Glenn FEARN or an Anna is doing is saying, wait a minute, this is not what we signed up for. We didn't sign up for debt slavery by when we decided to break away from Britain. It's like we might as well stay in Britain, right? So even the foreigners, see, this is why we can learn so much from the foreign. Because I'm going to admit it. I'm not. There's no shame in not knowing, right? There's really no shame. You just don't know what you don't know. But when I tell you that I'm starting to realize how clueless most of us Indians are by compared to those being accused of being sovereign citizens. And then Indians will jump on board and call them sovereign citizens. Baby, they're better citizens than you. So you just looking all kinds of stupid. You just don't know. And then you're talking all the lingua franca, talking about how you want to be part of a corporation, how you're going to vote. See, it's our people doing that, not Caucasians. Think about it, y'all. Think about it. Who's getting on panels talking about we should stay in the corporation, and don't you dare talk about giving up your social security number, or you know, giving up your birth certificate. You better not, best not. Who's doing that, y'all? It's not white people. White people are not. This is just so ironic to me. This is so fucking ironic to me that I can find more Caucasians talking about the real deal than I can find Indians talking about, which makes me think that the whole Indian thing is a psyop. Most of it. Most of it. And it seems like Indians are being tutored by Moors. And that's why it's like you love up on these Moors, but you're not stopping and you're not critically thinking. You're not critically thinking. Why is it that a Moor knows so much? If he knew so much, why didn't he come up against this system? He coming to you, right? He ain't doing nothing with the system he created. So a lot of Indians are still being fooled by blackface, not whiteface. Y'all got to wake up. I'm learning slowly that it's Moors that are whispering in Indians' ears. But I caution you with that. They're behind the scenes trying to direct Indians. And Indians think that this is your secret little friend. You better watch out with that. If he's not saying what I'm saying, watch out for that. What am I saying? I'm saying the whole thing is a fraud. The entire construct we are in has nothing for us on a national level or an international level. So look at the screen, please. We want to get an idea of how lingua franca at the end. Again, let's just go to Glenn FEARN because we got to give him his props because people are so willing to tear this man down. I know it. I Googled him and I see him seeing words like this sovereign citizen nut job and shit like it's like the system ain't. When you see them going out like that to ridicule somebody, you should know. You ought to know. That's called propaganda, y'all. When something that should be non biased is sounding very biased, and then really all putting words in your head like nut job, so they want you to think that someone talking about breaking out of the system is a nutcase. No, a nutcase is someone who wants to stay in it. Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to now. I don't. Okay. This is I just want to give the credit where it's due. I'm using Glenn FEARN's slides from his Sovereign Living YouTube channel. So thank you, Glenn FEARN. A lot of what you say rings true with this American Indian. We don't agree on everything, but I can surely give you credit where it's due. And so that's his information. I'm not pushing this to Indians. I'm just showing you where I'm getting this knowledge from. Now, I'm not saying you become a state national. See, people, when they're trying to run game on you, they're gonna say, oh, that's the one that's pushing us to be a state national. No, I'm not. Listen, you're not listening. That's the problem. You don't listen. You're hard-headed. You don't listen to crap but what the corporation tells you. And their codes, rules, and statutes, and you trying to navigate in that bullshit. It wasn't meant for you. So now I gotta go all the way back. See, I decided that I'm not really gonna get into, he's deep, like, and also he's very much a Christian. Now, Indians historically are not Christian, so I decided I was just going to go past those highlights because I don't know, Indians I don't think Indians really want to hear stuff like a lot of the Christian reference. Okay. And I think even Glenn might understand why that is. I mean, we're a colonized people. Y'all think you are feeling the brunt of colonization or a encroaching monarchy, Church of Rome system, you don't know the half of it. It's really the Indians who are paying the highest price in all of this. Okay. Again, the foreigners have a homeland to go to, and we learned from Anna that their homelands do not consider them just American. Though the homelands that where these foreigners are coming from, and why is that? It's because the homeland is saying, when you going to get you some cheddar, you're going to bring that shit back home and share that shit. Oh, yes, you will stay a Russian, because you ain't giving up this citizenship, boo. You ain't giving this shit up. Whatever you get over there, you gonna bring that shit over here. Send it on home to mama. And I thought about it, and I realized that's the kind of system that Indians should have. One where you can't not be an Indian no matter where the hell you go. See, that's a colonizer move once again, right? Because the colonizer is looking out. He's not giving up anything that he had before he came and colonized your black ass, right? He keeping that and your shit, you see. He ain't giving it up. But what are we left with? I said that they have two homelands and we have one. But the truth is, if we keep catering to the BS, the real truth is we don't have any. I got that wrong. I got that real wrong. I said that we only have one homeland and they have two. Baby, we don't have none until we step into sovereignty, okay? A lot of Indians don't want to hear that. I don't know how you're an Indian and don't want to hear this. Because it's a five civilized whispering in your ear. So these are the words in commerce. I thought this was very useful for Indians at this point. So the commercial words are to your left. The words you need to stay away from, the words that are grabs, the words that tell the colonizer everything's working as planned. So a resident is a commercial term. If you're a resident of New York, you know damn well that you are you're a slave to the District of Columbia, baby. You just reside in your state, but you belong to DC, which is not a state. Well, who's DC owned by again? Any geniuses? Okay. Is that a British crown? And I think it should be synonymous when we say British. Really, we should be really thinking of the Church of Rome, that's the kingmaker, right? That's the one who do the coronation for the situation, right? That's the coronation of the situation. So it's really, it's like one of those Swiss what do you call it? Box doll. What's the doll that there's a little doll inside, then there's a doll inside that one, and then the little wooden figurine inside that one. Yeah, then you got, when you get all through it, you find out the little boo-boo who the real thing is on the deep in the inside, right? And so really going beyond the British monarchy, we have to go to the kingmaker, right? They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the Church of Rome, right? So everything is like a store. It's like a storefront within a storefront within a storefront within a storefront within a storefront. When you're doing fraud, you got to have a lot of different covers, So resident, see, okay. The truth of the matter is none of these words should apply to Indians, point blank, period. The commerce words or even the other words, right? But we just want to get an idea of when you're in the hot plate of commerce, the hot plate words that you gotta look for. Now, the other words, they're saying that's common law, but I'm asserting to Indians, we don't want common law either. Why? Because that the term common is a replacement of law of the land. I believe the idea of common law, when I look that up, I'm seeing Britain. And part of me is saying, well, how could that be when they're fairly new? How could common law be common to a newbie? Like what was here before the newbie called it common law and now trying to say that they invented it? No, yeah, you invented that term, that phrase common law. That's what you patented or copyright. But what it is law of the land. But when you take it now and make it in your jurisdiction, once again, you're grabbing. That's colonizer. I don't think even I will ever really comprehend how words are the kind of like the building block main foundation of colonization. It's a word game. Words are so important in a colonizer takeover because they're changing meanings. They have you calling, I would say, what they would call demons, because we don't know where these words, what they're coming from. They're, we're just given words, and we just use them and we don't think twice about it. But I'm telling you, just look, at the screen. Traffic. Now he's not giving us the alternative or the what we call law, we could possibly call law of the land version. I'd say the non-commercial word, as opposed to the commercial word that has been hijacked by the colonizing system. So once again, residence is commerce. Sovereign, inhabit, a home is an abode. Okay. So a residence is actually an abode, and a resident is actually a sovereign. That's what we should be if we're outside of commerce. And right now, it would be the expedient thing for Indians is to get out of commerce, right? So this could be the starting point for getting out of commerce, right? For the words that he does provide. What's the word? For the words where he provides the alternate. So traffic, he didn't give us an alternate. Commissioner, he didn't give us an alternate. Motor vehicle, private conveyance. So you want to call your car a private conveyance, basically, just to get out of commerce. I'm not saying this is the word for Indians, because I think we got to go a step further. See, we're using, this is how the state national helps us, because they're very aware of the difference between commerce and law of the land. Whereas Indians, we've so colonized, we forgot. And we're clinging to only what we know, right? And all we know is commerce. Instead of using drive, we should understand people travel with private property. Indians might want to change all of this, but I'm just saying, once again, to get out of commerce, when a cop is telling you that you were driving, no, you say you were traveling, right? Or when a cop calls your car a motor vehicle, he says, no, this is my private conveyance, right? So that automatically he cannot go forward with the idea that you're in commerce, right? Right. Human. So we become familiar with what human means. Human is a monster, right? In one of these legal dictionaries, someone was able to show, I forgot who it was, thank you. They showed it in black and white, that human has a definition of being a monster. Okay? That's the Moors trying to tell you when they're speaking of quote unquote white people or people that they see. See, this is them trying to pull God rank over because they genetically altered people of color. So now they're God of that thing. Just like with words, when they give you that word resident, they become the God of you, right? This is how the word spells work. This is how colonizer lingua franca works. It's transferring everything to a commercial type of construct, taking you far, far, far away from law of the land and what we Indians called it. They completely got us speaking lingua franca, okay? So a human is a living soul. I really like this one. I have to say that I struggle with replacing human. And I like living soul. I find that I like that even as an Indian. A man, a woman, living soul, a man or woman, right? Not a human. Okay, not a human. Human rights, huh? See, once again, fooled into a whole jurisdiction where they own the thing that they named, y'all. They don't own a man. They don't own a woman. They don't own a living soul. That's why they made you dead. They own humans. That's the Moors. That's the Moors. I think of them immediately. Because why do I do that? Because that is when they started, that is the word they gave to what they had influence over. Now, I'm not saying that Moors actually, see, we want to be clear. They didn't actually create white people, okay? See, that's giving them way too much power that they don't have, okay? What they did, all you have to do is to manipulate matter, manipulate words, manipulate DNA, and then magically you can claim some kind of creation rights over that thing, right? So in a Moor's mind, just having white skin, in their mind, they feel that that's their patent pending. White is their patent pending, right? They own that, right? This is how it works. They do it with words. When the shot during the pandemic was developed, Anna talks about this. The idea was, if you get some of that shot juice up in you, now you have been genetically modified. So now you are owned even more so. Now they've done it already on paper, right? So now what's done on paper, now there's going to be a physical action done to claim what has already been contracted. See, they really they love contracts. Contracts were definitely a creation of some kind of demonic force, okay? And that's the best way I can describe it. Because it's assuming that it can lie to you, get you to sign a piece of paper, and that shit is legit. Now, they've done everything to deceive you into signing that piece of paper. That part is just a given. Like, hey, that's what we do. Deceiving is just things that people that are demonically inclined, that's what we do. So we don't think of that as wrong. We think, you the dummy for believing us, right? We came to your land, started making rules, and you started following them. Who's the fool here? Okay? Liberty. No, that's something that they give to sailors who are owned by the armed forces or the Marines or whatever. What is it? The Navy. People have freedom. But I wonder what people mean, though. Let's say a man or a woman has freedom, a living soul has freedom. We might want to figure out what people is. Okay, because that's a really hard one to fathom. We don't want to believe that it got that deep, right? That we have to give up that word too, right? But it would make sense that if you're talking about freedom, you have to be talking about a living soul, a man or a woman or a child. Like I think we're gonna have to start including children, because I think children are seen in this kind of Greco-Roman system as property. And I'm not sure that that's flying. It's something going on. And okay, even that word, children. It should be sons and daughters, right? Does he cover that here? I think it's the next slide. So maybe a child is property or chattel or whatever, but not a son or a daughter. Mail. People use the post, the postal address, but I do think something funky has happened with our post system. I'm not sure what it is, but I've heard things that I'm not sure that the post office is still a like a free agent outside of the system. I'm not sure, because check it out. What are they using? They're using addresses, right? The post office might have been hijacked just by using an address. So you're a free entity, whatever, but you're using designations in commerce. You're using mailing addresses, and you won't deliver it if it doesn't have a zip code. So are you really not part of the system? I can't say that you're not, because you won't even mail our shit really if we don't put a zip code on it, right? The zip code is what's tying us to the corporation, y'all. That it's a code. So would I'll be convinced that the post has not been hijacked and now truly is mail when they stop requiring a zip code. How about that? Okay. Transportation. Well, I think private conveyance. Well, he didn't give us a word for that, but that's a commerce term. Okay. So all the words outside of the brackets are commercial. Okay. So next, passenger is a guest. If you only in commerce do you have a passenger, right? Debtor, creditor. Now that's kind of tricky, because I don't think we're supposed to be either. Well, that's a tough one for me. Indians are not. How do we say it? I don't think we would call ourselves creditors. I think both of them are commercial. They're just like the opposite of the flipped coin or whatever. But you'd rather be a creditor. I can tell you that for damn sure. Because a debtor is a slave. A debtor is a slave. They feel you owe, so you can't be free. You're not free until you pay a debt. And they fix it where our debts are so sky high that they consider that we can never pay it. See, we just got to get out of the system. Once we're out of it, none of this won't even apply. But Indians who still want to be voting and all that shit, you're delusional. Wait. See, that's the thing. I frustrate myself thinking that Indians are just hard-headed, right? But the truth is, they are working for the system. They have to be. Okay. They have to be. Okay. So I think Indians that get frustrated just try to realize you're preaching to the choir. They've already been converted to the corporation. They are working for the corporation. Okay. They don't see a life outside of it. they insist that we actually don't know how to govern ourselves. So that's already, you're a disgrace to your ancestors, because you have this notion that we're not capable. You might as well be colonizing. You really might as well be colonizing. We're only capable if we have the colonizer construction over us, and then we'll behave. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't, that means you don't think very highly of your people. And if you're going to say that we were the first people, then you should know that we were very capable of creating society. Or I'm just the words now, creating our own system. How about that? Okay. Even though I'm sure system has some kind of, I don't know. So income, compensation for labor. I'm sorry, revenue. He didn't give us a alternate term for revenue. In trade, I don't think there is revenue. I think in trade, the object being traded, that's it. It takes care of all of that. You're not getting something for nothing. You're not getting some kind of return on an investment or nothing like that. You're just getting what is needed and trading for something else that someone else needed. Trading. So I really like the idea of trade. The more I think about it, because in trade, money is, we're not all chasing money. Okay. What comes with colonization is a mad rush for money. And I finally got real with myself and my desire to quote unquote win a lottery. And I couldn't figure out why the ancestors were not making that one come true. But I'm starting to understand the message that the ancestors are giving me. They're like, what do you think we're trying to get you? When you say you want to win a lottery, how that translates to them is that I want my land back. I was the one who didn't understand. But all of a sudden, instead of getting my jackpot like a jackass, I all of a sudden am so, this knowledge of being an Indian is coming. It's like, this is not what I called for. And it's like the answer saying, yes, it is. You just don't know it. This land got everything you could possibly want and more. That's why colonizer is here, baby. That's why colonizer is here. So let's get through this slide. I feel like, okay, so you don't have a spouse, you have a wife or a husband. I don't know why. I think originally spouse was just female. I don't know. It seems like that's what he's implying here. Children, right? Son or daughter, right? Okay. Not children. That's a commercial term. Spouse is a commercial term. All these terms on the far left are commercial terms. Except what's in the brackets. Okay, those are outside of commerce. Married, joined in holy matrimony. See, that's another thing that Indians might have a different idea, because we don't do Catholicism. Okay. Assets, property. That I'm surprised, because I'm sure that I've seen the word property on the tax and stuff, so I don't know. Assets, property. Well, he's talking about just assets, not your house, but isn't your home considered an asset in this system and not your right, God-given right to live in a house on your land? They want to call it an asset. Assets, property. Well, again, what's our rule of thumb here? Definitely not what's on the right side. Maybe what's in the brackets. Okay, more that's definitely, well, it's more outside of commerce than what's on the left. Taxpayer, non-taxpayer. I'm a little suspicious of still using the words, but using a negative in front of the word, like taxpayer and non-taxpayer. I would say we can't use the word in a negative. We just can't use the word period. You know what I'm saying? Don't use taxpayer, period. This is just I'm not trying to criticize Glenn because he does excellent work. Excellent work. Again, there are natural differences because he is not an Indian. But for a foreigner who understands the foreign system, he's doing an excellent job, just like Anna. So yeah, we're gonna try to read that document I talked about. If I can get this done before I have to leave, will I be able to do that? Maybe not. I have like a half an hour, so I don't think so. That might have to be the next video. Sorry. This is already an hour, so okay. So taxpayer, non-taxpayer. That's like incorporated and unincorporated. I feel like the idea is you cannot use the word period. It's still a nod to colonization, right? So unincorporated, I no. I think for that we have to go with the idea that I think we get it, even though sometimes I fall short, is that you can't do a negative affirmation because the subconscious mind does not understand negative. Wow. Which brings me back to the brings me black, no thank you. Which brings me back to the blood conversation, how old negative has been glorified. And it's the last thing that should be glorified. If you have a blood type that attacks a fetus, I don't know if that's the one you want to glorify. I really don't. And I hate to say that. I realize the idea is we don't want to make people with O negative blood feel bad, right? That part I got. But once again, when it comes to putting down another to uplift another, I ain't going for that either. So that's why I kind of came down on the O negative, because I think O positive is being sacrificed to give O negative some kind of glow up. And I feel like, well, give yourself a glow up, but don't put me down in the process. I just felt like it was some kind of way of making it like against all blood types, really, So I realized, wait, why are they getting a glow up? Then I understood why. It's like, oh, so you're gonna put someone down with a certain type of blood because you gotta uplift this one because it's actually a killer type of blood. I'm sorry I had to say it how because when they explain it, it's like once again, your brain cells are dying like by the minute. What are you saying? What what is this? Why are you even going there with this? But I suddenly realized there's a reason why they're trying to glorify O negative blood. And it was starting to get to me, and it put up a red flag. That's what it did. And I realized, okay, something else is going on here. Why are they subtly trying to, this is the blood of the gods, and there's no other blood like this, and blah 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 blah. And I ain't here for that. I'm tired of being seconded. I really am. And so that's what it was. I'm like realizing, why do I have to be subjected to this? Why? So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, just like it kind of gave me the word and how they play on the mind, and how the use of a negative affirmation is really affirming the negative, you know, like Anna spoke to, you know, I know I say her a lot because she helps me. People like Anna and Glenn Fern, they give me, as an Indian now, they give me the authority by virtue of seeing them take authority and knowing that as an Indian, I damn sure have authority to speak against the colonizer that colonized my entire landmass. If the foreigner can do it, I damn well better start singing. So people, why I really give a lot of credit to Anna and Glenn uh, is because they are fearless when they are dragging the system. They are unlike Indians. And I'm going to say it, you know, I ain't never going to be calling nobody's name really. But I'm going to say, when I hear Indians talk, I'm hearing fear behind all the noise. I'm hearing a great fear of this government. And they say you should never fear your government. But Indians, it's almost like it's just a given. Like, I've had a conversation where the Indian was saying, but they're going to get the army and and you know, and I'm like, but do you understand what rights you have though? They can't sick no army on us like that. It would not fly, especially when we're saying we're Indians, and we know we are. But it's like Indians, they don't talk like state nationals do. They really don't. I'm hearing a whole lot of I don't know what to call acquiescence, fear mongering, so scared of the government, so scared. Again, I'm not the bravest soul, but I can do the math. Again, if I see a foreigner talking freely about what the fuck is going on, I can't stay quiet. I can't sit here and be like, okay. I can't do it. There's a way out of this. We just have to be brave enough to take it. At least brave enough to take that step. It's a huge step though, but it's a wonderful one. That's what I see people like Anna doing. That's why when you hear me say her name, don't get it twisted. The woman is no joke, okay? And when I hear an Indian talk like Anna speaking, the closest one so far, Chief Mimi, that's the closest. Dane is in that realm. If I can say one thing, I sometimes, and I say this respectfully, I get a little confused because sometimes I hear Dane talking about Trump, and that's when I think, okay, he wouldn't be our president, and in that system, there's nothing he's going to do different. Um, so then people might say, then why do they not want him in the White House so badly? That's how they play these games, y'all. It's not real. What it is I'll tell you what it is right here. So the question is, Trump has to be the real thing, because look how bad they don't want him to be president. Don't you know a show when you see one? Don't you see that that is a propaganda? They don't do shit like this out in the open, y'all. But this Trump thing is so out in the open that somebody should be saying, wait a minute. Is this a show? That's all I'm getting from this, y'all. An entire show. But I want to tell you why. How is this show happening? Like, some people gonna say, but I saw on the news. I saw it, and I know there's a God. I know there's a God because I saw it on the news. I saw God on the news. That's the problem. You saw it on the news. When the news be telling you something truthful, but it happened. They showed Trump coming out of the court, and he looked all not happy and stuff. It's game, y'all. They are actors. I think Anna even called them that at one point. Actors. It's a stage. It's Greek theater. Mm-hmm. That's where the theater came from, really. And then we learned that that's where the state and the Constitution came from as well. All of it is a show. But I think people want to know, but why do I see the realism, though, the emotions? Why are people getting upset when they think about? Because they are just as ignorant as we are. See, that's the part that people get. They see these people getting all upset because Trump is going to be, they're ignorant too. That's why they think Trump is this threat. And he's no, that he's the savior or whatever, whichever side of the coin you are on. It's all a show. It's a great show, but I'm done with shows. When I stopped watching Housewives, I knew I was done with it. Oh man. So what you see when you see a lot of emotion and people upset, because that makes you feel like, ooh, they really don't want Trump in because he's the savior. No, they just don't know. They are like a pyramid type of scheme. Try to always think of your pyramid. Only the people at the tippy top know that this is all a show. The ones under, like the CEO and all that, the supporting cast or whatever you want to call them, they still believe the bullshit. They think this is real. Commerce is fiction. Commerce and everything in it, including the government, is fiction. When they're not using law of the land, and they're not, everything else is corporate fiction, acting, theater. So the more adamant you see people like fighting Trump, it's based on their level of ignorance. They have a level of knowledge, but an Indian should see past all of this. And also, it might matter to those who fall in that jurisdiction. It might matter who's president somewhat. But Indians don't belong in that quote unquote jurisdiction. So we shouldn't care who's in that seat. What we should care about is that they don't have dominion or jurisdiction over us. Right? That's what we should care about. Whoever is in that seat. What I get when I think of, the vision I I see is that if enough Indians get out of slavery, there will be no need for a slave master because his best slaves, the field Negroes, they won't be there. You see? So if Indians ever get on their game, that means there'll be no more blacks. There will be no more blacks in America. What do you think about that? If there's no more blacks, there's no more slave master, really. And the ones that he's slave master over, if they continue to have a white status, which I think both of them got to go, black and white, I think people's nationalities have to be revealed, especially if their home country is still seeing them as citizens. This is what Anna said, y'all. The woman she know what she's talking about. Okay. She know what she's talking about. So everybody that's a foreigner here has a dual citizenship. Okay. They say that Indians have a dual citizenship, but really we have shit. That's what we have. Okay. And if it's a dual citizenship between the federal and the state, baby, we don't want that. That's like being sandwiched in between two registered sex offenders or something of that nature. We don't want that. Okay. We don't want to be a dual citizenship in two fictitious realms. Okay. We want to establish our sovereign standing on the land. And I've decided that, you know what, I realize there's some Indians who don't want that. Fine, don't. But I'm here to encourage those who do. And so far, once again, I think Chief Mimi is the only one that I've seen that is really asserting this level of authority. Yes. So I think I have to close out, although I intended to do more. I simply, these morning videos are not the best for me because I have to get ready to get going. So then there's the uploading time, and that's why the video didn't have a title for the whole day until I got home. And so if I intending on naming this video, even if I don't name it, I'm just gonna have to do what I did yesterday. This is just I definitely did not get to the slides or the screenshots that I want to talk about. What we want to look at is who are these Indians that Anna found that, and see, this is where it's going to get real for me because yes, I do. I'm a champion of Anna's work. When it comes to knowing who the real Indians are, I don't know if that is something that would make a person like guilty of wrongdoing, because we all been lied to about, about who the Indians are. So if we look and we find that Anna found, let's get a sneak peek, okay? Let's just get a sneak peek. We're not going to read it, but we do need to keep in mind. Here's the it was going to be the next slide. This is the name of it. Again, this is credit to Anna's work. This is her work, not mine, but I find that the woman has taught me so much. I feel like I can't even quantify what I've learned from this lady. And I'm so very appreciative to the ancestors for what I have learned from her. Now, some Indians who are completely against Indians being free will say, oh, you're trying to get people to become state nationals. I emphatically am not. Now, I will admit there was a time early on when I thought I wasn't aware that we had a lawful legal standing. I really was not. I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought we had to, in other words, I kind of thought we had to really start from scratch and create that, even that. But when I read the articles by bar attorneys who found out the truth, Peter DiErico, and then I read that led to another article where the brother was saying that there's a third sovereign. I began to realize, oh my God, it is in the Constitution that we're not supposed to be in the system. So that's half the battle. I think when I first started being aware of being Indian, I just thought the idea was, oh, if I get in a tribe, everything will fall into place. No, no, I learned the hard way. That's definitely not the case. Joining a tribe that's going to end up being federal or dependent on federal, that is the opposite of what the Constitution has for us or what the Constitution speaks to. When we're in, Indians not tax is a status. It's not a tax exemption. We learned that. So it's, in other words, all it is a matter of is standing in that status, but the Indians are still afraid. You know, we because we're not getting support, right? But here's the thing, that has to come from within us. Now we can get support from people like Anna, who is bold enough to call out the fraud. You have to realize that the system is acting fraudulently so that we are encouraged to take up our standing and get out of it. In other words, the system has gone, it has gone belly up, right? So it's a sinking ship that we have to get off of, right? Indians have a way out, but they're too afraid to take it. And I was too. And I'm not saying that I'm all there now with my bravery game, but I'm much more further along than I was. And it's only getting much better when I have people that encourage me. And I hate to say it, all I'm getting from Indians is a lot of arguing and you know, fighting with the Moors, you know. And I realize this is not getting us anywhere. It's entertainment. But once I gave up the housewives, yes, I at one point was watching that show. You know, um, yeah. So, but you get to a point where it's like this is the same. That's what it was with the housewives. Like you realize this is basically the same episode with a different narrative. It's just the same thing as we're just waiting for the fight, right? Oh my gosh. So it's like I realized, I mean, I wish them well, you know, I do. It's just that somewhere you start to see the formula, you know, you don't see it at first. And I'm just using that as an example to show that I think this is what is happening with the YouTube community of Indians. It seems like it's more about just getting online because this is the time that I make a video. Like, in other words, up, it's Monday again, or it's Tuesday. I'm supposed to make a video. It's like, well, if you don't got nothing to say, I don't think so. You know, or if it's just a very, sort of topics that are not helping us to get out. It's like, what is it? What's the point? I don't know what I'm. What's that? What did the actress say? Give me my motivation. What's my motivation? It's like, what's my motivation? Excuse me. Oh boy. Um, and it's just you get to the point where you have to consider, well, maybe the whole thing is like the whole Trump thing. Maybe it's all a theater, Uh and so you start to feel like, nothing is moving. You're not really moving forward. It's either you're tuning in, and every time you tune in, it's like, oh yeah, I'm encouraged to be more in my stand in my true status as an American Indian. Or is it, oh, that Moors, they make me so upset. It's like, how much arguing with the Moors are we gonna do before we realize that that's why they're here? When do we stop and say, oh, this is what they do? They cause you to stand wasting your breath arguing with them because they're not changing, right? They done oath to whoever, because some kind of oath had to happen. I don't know who they promised that they're gonna always be who they made their I don't know. But maybe it's like being a secret society. You can't get out. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But I know the dedication that they have to that stuff, it's incredible. It's just incredible. It's like, you are so indoctrinated. I know Indians are, but I don't think I've seen so much dedication to such a dubious cause before. Like, you gotta see that they are the wild card in this chain link, or whatever, the flippers. That has to be the definition of what a Moor is. They have to convert to all types of machinations in order to grab that land. They have to, so they become this entity that has a million different faces, and therein lies the problem. They can never be very single-minded because there's too many people now and too many different lands to orchestrate for the big take. They have to constantly be many things. And didn't even in their own scripture, didn't say you have to be sort of like single-minded or something. But they would say, yeah, we're single. That's why everything is going to be a more. That's why, that's the singleness. But the word more itself is not single. It's a many faceted thing. So your idea of being single-minded is getting a multi-purpose word so you can convert whenever need be. Can we not see the fraud just in that alone? It's like someone who has many names, or many definitions of one word. It's like, it's too much, y'all. It's too much. America is America. China is China. India is India. Well, it was really Bharat, but when they was setting them up to be like they're the Indians, that's when they changed their name, right? The Moors did that. Okay. Um uh so what I'm saying is that even the land masses have distinct names, right? If we're supposed to all be the same people, then why are we're not, right? But that's the funny thing. See, that I'm going to say this, and I gotta get off here. That is the uh creation through destruction, right? So you create many things, but you make sure that they break so that you can recreate it and say, up, that first one was wrong. No, that's how you made it. You built it wrong so that you can swoop in like Superman and say, look, I fixed it. So come join me now. So that's why I guess we have the different land masses. Because I'm thinking really what the Moors would like is just to call all of this Pangea and be through with it. That's what they want to do. So you are all Pangeans. You're not American. You're not Indian. You're all Pangeans, and we are ahead of all Pangeans. That's what they want to do. They just want something that they can be ahead of. If that don't have second born written all over it, or third and fourth born, I don't know what does. This mad desire to be in control, you know. People who are in control, they don't have this like big ego thing about it. But that's what I'm seeing with Moors. It's just like some kind of ego trip and too much energy to want to desiring to be in a certain position. It's like when the position is yours, you don't stress it like that. But when it's something that you're aspiring to, oh my gosh, it's like y'all are really like beside yourself with this power hungry stuff. You just obviously you don't have it because it's too novel to you, and it's after all these centuries, it's still so novel to you. It's like you never had it because you wouldn't have this lust for it. Like the thrill would be gone. It's never gone with these MFs. They renew it somehow. They look around and say, "Is there anything else I can control, God? Set, devil, what else can I do? What else can I acquire?" Like, sit your fast ass down. It's like, get over it. Oh, look at me. I done talk. I was supposed to give you all a sneak peek. Look, I done went on a tangent. But we want to, so this is the article we're gonna try to get through at some point. But here's the meat and bones. So the banks meant to kill our nation, void our constitution, she ain't saying nothing but facts, and seize our abandoned assets. So, you know, when they make you black and all of that, they can say that, oh, the Indians are gone. They abandoned, abandoned ship. Oh, they wanted a ship. Yay. We know all about ships, right? Okay. So we formed a new contract agreement with the Native American nations. Now, when I tell you that this is the first time I read Anna really directly speak to any alliance with Indians, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, Anna, oh, what you did, Anna, what you done did. But so y'all are reading ahead of me. Don't. What if I do that? Then you can't do it, right? Listen, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, let's read it. Let's read it. So, see, this is really the gist of it. I just want to give you a peek at it because I don't want to keep you in suspense and all that, But you're probably going to read ahead or freeze or shut me. See, if this is on video, y'all going to freeze it and shut me down and shut me up. And I don't appreciate that. I'm going to send a Washington, Iroquois, what do you call it? Wakanda, a voodoo spell. Oh, don't you freeze this video when I'm talking. Don't you do it. Oh boy. Cat, a Wakanda voodoo, Wichita, Witchy Poo, Iroquois spell cast upon you. Okay. So she's saying the banks meant to kill our nation. They did. And this is why they called it bankrupt and you got it foreclosed and then they done made us the collateral. So I believe that's why we had a whole pandemic. That was them claiming their us as collateral, right? Marked for elimination, right? Especially the Indians, right? Everybody else is going to be owned. We just ain't going to be here. That's the idea, like. So, okay, so the banks meant to kill our nation, void our constitution, and seize our abandoned assets to enrich themselves. So we formed a new contract agreement with the Native American nations to represent the states of America and the American people in fulfillment of the Constitution for the United States of America. Now, I appreciate what she's saying. Okay, the part where she grabs some Indians, I just don't know who these Indians are. I feel like they're definitely illegitimate. You know what I'm saying? But her goal is correct. If, in other words, we do have a constitution existing here, right? For the foreigners and the Moors, right? So her thing is, well, why don't we go by, we have to go by that, right? So I can't hate her for grabbing what she should have. Okay. So her motive was right. You know, so we issued new sovereign letters, patent I'm sorry, we issued new sovereign letters patent in rebuttal of the banks, and we issued a new declaration of joint sovereignty. You see, that instantly put the resources and people of the indigenous nations on the playing board and on our side. These nations, the Athabascan, what the fucking? I don't see. So it's the Athabascan, that's the one I would have not remembered. Nation and the Lakota Nation are recognized internationally. Washita, I thought that was you. Y'all are known as the quote unquote Black Indians, right? What happened? What happened? What happened? Here. Hello. Why you the as I speak, I think what's going on. When she says recognize internationally, I seeing somewhat of a conflict because Anna knows that international is not the go-to, right? She knows that. But I think she's just speaking. I don't. This is what I don't know. Okay, maybe she's speaking in general terms. Maybe she doesn't mean literally recognized, like federally recognized. I hope. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. 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 Okay. 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 She says they are members of the United Nations. That's a problem. See, now when I first read this, I think my head was spinning. I didn't know what to think because y'all know I've been a supporter of Anna. But the ancestors, you know, when sometimes I told you when you're doing a video, sometimes you get like a I don't know what to call it. I think that sometimes the ancestors just they show up. I don't know. They want to be in the moment, right? They're in the moment. They don't, you know, but I think this is where what I didn't see before. Now I'm comprehending it. I maybe I didn't want to see it, but I know she knows that the United Nations is not the go-to, right? So let me see. I would have to find out how old this article is. I'm pretty sure it's not a new one. Maybe she knows better now. She has not talked about this in any of her shows. Okay, so let's read that again. These nations, oh boy, wait a minute, what time is it? Yeah, I gotta get ready to get out of here. The Athabascan. Has anyone ever heard of that group of Indians? I've never heard of them. But I really, that's what I have to look up. Now, y'all will probably get a jump on me because I got to get ready to get on out here, go to the plantation. And the Lakota Nation, now I heard of them before, are recognized internationally, are members of the United Nations, have more than 15 million members. Maybe that's the defining thing about these are competent to fulfill the federal side of the Constitution contract and have agreed to do so. For the first time in more than 3 centuries, the American people as a whole, I think what she means is Indians and the immigrants, have the opportunity to stand together and rule their own destiny on the land and on the sea. Oh, I like that. That I like. Because I think we have to take back that sea jurisdiction, y'all, because once commerce was created, that entity assumed that they own the sea, right? You don't own anything, okay? You're a priesthood with a very huge ego and delusions of grandeur. Because the deity you're worshiping, let's face it, it's not something from upstairs, shall we say, in the general scheme of things. We stuck our fingers in the dike, but it is up to everyone to now work to repair our lawful government and expose the fraud and mismanagement and breach of trust that landed our country in this situation. All of this is heading toward an inevitable national plebiscite. I don't know what that means, but maybe we'll look it up later, or you'll look it up. In which the facts are all finally disclosed to everyone, and in which each one of us decides the fate of our nation. Meantime, the necessary work of restoring the lawful government on the land has begun in every corner, township, and county. Jural assemblies are forming, and the county level governments owed to the land jurisdiction are booting up. This finally is our government coming from the bottom up, the government of the people, by the people, for the people. This is profoundly not an insurrection. See, I like that part, because that's when Indians do it. It's also not an insurrection. We're reclaiming what was there laid out in the Constitution, but we're taking it very extremely serious now. It's a restoration. Thank you. I like that too. What about the state and county governments presently operating as franchises of these huge multinational banking cartels? So she's saying there's a state and county that are in capital letters that are owned by the feds, that are not, in the land soil jurisdiction. There's no need to fight with them. They are just franchises, like Dairy Queen franchises of an insolvent parent corporation on one hand, United States Inc., and another governmental services corporation, the United States of America, that doesn't have a valid contract on the other. I think I'm gonna stop there, because are we supposed to fight the Dairy Queen over what? New flavors of ice cream? Ladies, such a sense of humor. All that, well, let's just finish. I think that's the last part. Oh gosh. I got so many highlights. All that is necessary. No, all that is necessary is that Americans wake up, thank you, and remember who they are. Indians, are you taking note? And start operating their own government the way their government is supposed to work. Let's cut down to the ultimately, the people and their states of America may see it fit to amend, I love this, rewrite, restructure, Indians, are you listening? Or even destroy the existing Constitution in favor of a new consolidated structure that better protects and enunciates the sacredness of each man and woman, and which provides less leeway for public employees to go astray. Hello. That's what I was saying earlier. That it seems like the Constitution was written in a way that it leaves a lot of leeway for fraud. And she just said, see, let me just say this. This is why I can rock with somebody like Anna. This lady is taking so much authority, but she's doing it completely lawfully. This is not willy-nilly crap going on. Indians are not talking like this. That's why I'm finding that I can't really get with Indians, any tribe right now, or any, I just can't. I understand that they have their own, qualifications, fine. Because all I see is that ain't no Indians talking like this. Okay, that's all. And the funny thing is, I do realize, no, I'm not supposed to be a state national, but unfortunately, if for some reason Indians don't get it together, this would be the next best thing. And I don't advocate that Indians give up being Indians, but if all we doing is fighting with Moors and we're still slaves, I'd say get out of that, and you might as well be a state now. See, I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is I'm not seeing any Indians taking this kind of authority with this entity on the land. The Indians are more giving them like all this credit, like they are so damn legitimate. That's what Indians do. That's what I see Indians doing. Okay. And like Anna just said, this is not about an insurrection. This is about a restoration. But we still have to call Anna to task, because since when is the United Nations, the go-to about what's an Indian? You know what I'm saying? I think her numbers are impressive. Now, if they are that big, I could and they are somewhat organized, and they understand that this government has gone wackadoodle. Maybe those are the Indians that need to be there. Shit, pardon my French. Because if we're sitting around doing nothing, see, I know that Indians are gonna read and say, see, I told you Anna's no good. No. If you're sitting around and all you can do is fight with Moors and Hebrew Israelites and put down other Indians and all of that, then I'd rather be with these damn, what do they call again? The Athabascan and the Lakota. Of course, they ain't gonna want to be with me. That's the problem. But the only problem is they don't want to get with me. So scratch that idea. But I'm just saying, they are more useful, because I'm telling you, I had some issue with this, but at the end of the day, if they're going to get this nation back where it should be, more freaking power to them, because ain't no Indian trying to do it. Somebody got to do it, right? When Indians don't do it, somebody got to do it, right? See, Indians think that, we can just sit here and, play patty cake with the corporation and argue with each other and be more foul-mouthed than Heru, and that's all we got to do. That's it. Boom, I'm an Indian. Meanwhile, the Athabascan and the Lakota, they are aligning themselves with someone who knows some shit. Even though they ain't the real Indians, they know what real look like, apparently. Because I'm telling you, if those, whoever they are, if they are working with Anna, they are much further along than copper-colored American Indians are. Because here's the reason why. Copper-colored Americans don't know how to think outside of the corporation. They just have no, as soon as they start thinking about outside of the corporation, the next thing they talk about, well, I had to go get my driver's license and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Can somebody get me out of this game? Somebody get me out of this. You all know I'm upset if I'm going into my soprano voice. You all know I'm upset. It's like, but wait, no, you gotta get out. It's like Indians are standing around they standing at the front door of the haunted mansion, and then they run out, and then you think they leave in the property, and they run to the side door and run back in the haunted mansion. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. God help me, please, please, somebody help me. Please, somebody get me out of this nightmare. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Like a trilogy of terror. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. No, this can't be happening. Karen Black, help me, get me out of here. Get it, Zuni fetish doll, whatever. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. And man, the copper colors is running out the front door of the haunted mansion, and then run to the side door and going back in. Oh my gosh. The Athabascans and the Lakota, they're I'm telling y'all, if they're with Anna, they are not what they're reaching for. It's in other words, it's definitely better than what you get as a federally recognized Indian. But we got to look deeper, and I have to get off of this. Oh my God, what time is it? 8:21. Thank you for watching. The cat is out the bag. We got a lot to unpack. We got to find out who these Indians are. And what, more about, I know that Anna got her stuff set up. She got the assemblies in almost every state. Just about every state, there's a assembly of what they will call the people, not agents of the foreign government, the real state nationals that they were supposed to be from the beginning when this thing was brought. See, the Moors brought something here in a two-system government, and then they basically over time scrapped it and turned us all back into slaves. This is what, and the Washita told us that this is the system they brought, right? So what the hell happened to it? We know it wasn't supposed to operate like it's operating now, and you brought it here, so what happened? Anna didn't even didn't know nothing about you. She went to the Athabascans and the Lakota. I thought y'all Washita was the numero uno and had seat number 215 in the United Nations. What's that in Boover the Fool section of the United Nations? That little room off to the left? The room that they keep locked and dark? That's the room that you Washita is in? Where are you? Hello? Never mind, we don't want you. Go back on where you came from. We don't want you. What am I talking about? We want the real Indians, okay? So anyway, we got to find out who those Indians are, y'all. What makes them so different from other Indians? Because I'm telling you, my understanding is there's not one sovereign. That's why Anna's not. That's why she's fighting, because she ain't even sovereign. She's fighting for her level of sovereignty. So who are these Indians that she went to that can represent the feds? In other words, she's saying we're going to have a government by the people that of the land that are Indians. They're going to be the new Fed. That's what basically I think we read. That's like we supposed to be that. But again, we don't really want to use any of their words anymore. But there I go preaching again. So I have to stop myself. I have to literally ask the ancestors to put what do you call it, like a padlock on my mouth so I can get out of here. Thank you for watching. Till next time, I'm going to try to upload this. If it doesn't have a title, it's because I done talk so much I don't have time to give it a title. So till next time, we're gonna, we'll pick up who are these Indians. Thank you for watching. Be and stay highly favored. Till next time.